As someone who has spent years exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition, I've come to understand that true luxury reveals itself in the quietest of details. And for the well-dressed gentleman, few details are more quietly powerful than a pair of eyeglasses. They're not merely functional, they frame how we see the world and how the world sees us. Today, we begin a journey not just into eyewear, but into the extraordinary tradition behind one of Britain's most storied names, E.B. Meyrowitz. For 150 years, this independent atelier has crafted optical instruments of distinction, tools of vision shaped by hand with purpose, precision, and style. Glasses that not only allow one to see clearly, but that are crafted entirely handmade to leave a lasting impression. Even after all my years in London, hidden gems like Marowitz still await discovery. And so today, we embark on an exciting new journey into the remarkable world of one of the most prestigious bespoke eyeglass makers in the world. Jamie,
well,
great to see you.
Lovely to see you in London. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I have to say, I mean, one of the things I love about London is that despite how much time I spend here, or at least have spent here now, there are so many hidden gems still lurking around for discovery. And I feel like somehow E.B. Marowitz has been, you know, one of these that has escaped my search after all these years, and I've just landed on. So it's exciting to be here.
Well, we're very excited to have you, and finally be on the radar.
Yeah.
Or should we say the focal?
The focal point.
That's it.
Well, I mean, one of the things again that I find in London is that a certain commonalities, right? You know, amongst my best dressed friends, many go to Kent Haston Lacter. This is one of my double-breasted Kent Haste suits. But also amongst my best dressed friends, one of the things they all share in common, once you get them to actually admit where their glasses are from, is that they've all come from E.B. Marowitz.
Yes, we do have quite a lot of secretive clients in that respect, but it's a secret worth fleshing out. We like to think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but you know, E.B. Marowitz is no newcomer to London. I mean, I think, you know, the firm itself is pushing 150 years.
I think
now?
we're celebrating our 150-year mark this year.
Okay.
So we've been around for quite a while.
In London, that long?
And in London, from the early 1920s.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Emil Bruno Meyrowitz, the eponymous founder, started Meyrowitz in 1875, and opened practices around the world. He opened them in New York, Paris, and London. Mm-hmm. And in the sort of 1950s, the business is separated. And Meyrowitz, the brand, E.B. Marowitz, the brand, we're based in London. We conduct all the bespoke business and have some ready to wear. The Merowitzes in Paris and New York are opticians in their own right.
Okay.
And very, very nice, but they're not associated with the brand.
And they're not doing bespoke.
They don't do bespoke.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a big distinction.
They're conventional opticians.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice conventional opticians. And while the brand only exists under its London patronage, today, the brand took off in the early 20th century and had a really great history of not only just spectacle making, but other ophthalmic equipment.
Okay.
And quite notably, goggles that were used for early adventures, exploring. And the inaugural flights over the Atlantic with Lindbergh and Earhart, Marowitz, and a lot of motor racing history. So, for example, every winner of Le Mans from the inaugural race to around the mid-1950s, the winners all wore Marowitz goggles.
Is that right?
To do that, yes.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. There's a lot of heritage within motor racing, aviation, and mountaineering.
Yeah. One of the things, again, that I love about the British heritage companies is how they are so much a part of the fabric of history. I mean, in London, you know, which until, you know, the mid-20th century was really at the center of the world.
Yeah, sure.
You know, the firms here were a part of all these important moments in history in one way or another.
Exactly. And we feel very proud to have that history associated with the brand. And we like to think we reconnect almost perfectly with the brand in its infancy.
Yeah.
We make our glasses traditionally.
Okay.
What I mean by that is we use our hands.
Really?
We use materials, we cut our glasses out, and the majority of the work we do with our frames is done in the same methods as the company would have done. in its nascency.
Yeah, I find, I mean, one of the things that got me into, this world was the romance of the idea that you can have something made today.
Yes.
The same way it's been made for over 100 years.
Oh, yes.
And not just something made in a factory, but something made for you by someone.
Oh, absolutely.
To your exact, peculiarities.
Yeah. We make all of our spectacles down in London. We have a lovely little workshop down on the Thames. There's a real feel, a real emotion that goes into making each piece.
Yeah.
And letting them go into the world is even lovelier.
Yeah.
It's a little sad because it's almost like letting your kids go to school. But no, we're very proud of the pieces that we make. And much like you have with your tailors or your shoemakers, it's important to understand how you're using your spectacles, with what you're dressing your spectacles with, your habits. People just aren't knowledgeable, unfortunately, about, or haven't been educated, unfortunately, about what can be achieved.
Well, or that, that a bespoke eyeglass maker even exists.
Exactly.
I mean, there's far more tailors and shoemakers in the world than there are bespoke spectacle makers. So, well, that's exciting. Well, where do we begin? Because, I'm looking at this incredible display, and it's, 2/3 of these, I would say I would be lucky, to have the privilege of wearing. But, I kind of put myself in your hands.
Of course.
And I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know what the first question to ask.
No, well, the first question is, what are you looking to achieve from these spectacles? Yeah. I mean, are we looking for something just to blend in very subtly with the rest of your aesthetic? Are we looking for something to create a little bit of a statement? Yeah. Do you want something to flow? Do you want something to be iconic? Tell me about yourself.
Well, in looking at the beauty here, I think I would probably go for a pair of seeing glasses. So I would be interested in kind of approaching it from that direction first.
Of course.
Maybe we add a pair of sunglasses second.
Yes, absolutely. In terms of a sort of a classical aesthetic, in terms of something that isn't too loud, you can wear as a pair of spectacles, will flow very nicely. There are a number of different pieces.
Okay.
And we'll start from the more traditional, and we can venture outwards should you like. Now, don't worry about how these fit as is. They will all be made to your measurements.
Okay.
So at this point, we're just trying to get a sense check of how we see them on.
Okay.
Do we relate to the style? Do we find them okay? And don't worry about the color either, just the style.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So the first piece I wanted to show you was something like this. It's one of our most classical models. It's the Tangier. Very easy off-panto shape. Here it's made in a nice mottle, buffalo horn mottle, but will be very easy to wear for you.
Yeah.
And it's a traditional shape. It's very easy to wear. But if you have a look at yourself, you can see already we've uncovered, one little quirk of the facial architecture, and that's just a widespreading mid nose.
Never noticed it before.
No. It's funny because you don't have a large nose. It's just a tiny little widening in that sort of midsection that just props the whole frame. Something which also could be rather nice is the Bostonian. So a very different shape for you, very different style. Will sit very high as it's a tight bridge. Classic and a little stylized on account of the bridge and the ovular lens area. You can have a look at yourself. Something rather
that's interesting.
Academic.
I'd say the I don't know what you'd call this, the frame.
Yes.
Seems a little bit small.
It's small. It's an undersized frame.
Okay.
There are certain frames which are always going to be normally sized.
Okay.
There are frames which work a little bit better as undersized pieces, and there are frames which we design as oversized fitting pieces. It very much depends on where you want to go with the frame, the aesthetic you want to carry out. And that brings us on to another piece, idea of. And something like this, I think, speaks very nicely of the aesthetic that you carry. And I would have thought something rounded like this would be nice.
I mean, round, I think I find myself, whenever I see them, a little bit intimidated.
Yes.
But I would imagine that, seeing this is quite interesting in that it is certainly much more unusual.
It is.
I mean, it speaks to something that is being made.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I think as an everyday concern, something like a Tangier would be beautiful. Very easy to wear, very relaxed. You don't have to think about it at all. But it's something a little bit more interesting. I would revert to the Blenheim
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, as I think about it, I mean, you know, since, you know, I did get LASIK and don't necessarily, you know, by this point, I probably need a little bit of a prescription.
Of course.
So I guess we'll find that out. But, you know, the way that I would really see myself wearing these would be almost as a little bit of a refinement or statement.
Of course.
It's not really an everyday pair.
No.
Because
no.
I don't need to wear them every day. It really would be something to kind of elevate
and
or punctuate.
Of course. An outfit that you're already wearing, of course. So I think something like this could be a fine style. You know, if you take a look in the mirror, as we talked about your bridge before, the frame as a result is sitting quite high.
Yeah.
It's not sitting flush to your nose. It's an undersized frame, so it doesn't necessarily need to be much bigger, but maybe a little bit smaller could be appropriate. And this is a quite a stylized temple here, but I think it may be a classical piece that goes round the ears for the first piece might be quite nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we're going to be looking at materials and colours.
And how many are there? I mean, just out of curiosity.
We work with three main materials. The first is acetate. The second is buffalo horn. And the third is real tortoiseshell.
Really? Oh, wow, yeah.
We also work with exotic woods and mammoth ivory and some other more hybrid materials that we're developing at the workshop.
Really?
But these are the three
primary.
The primary.
Yeah. So you actually commission eyeglasses here in tortoise as well?
Yes, I mean, we're lucky enough to have dead stocks that date back before the ban. And I'll show you a few of the pieces. So something like this is an amber tortoiseshell.
Wow.
Really beautiful. You can see how light it is.
Look at the color.
It's extraordinary.
That is unbelievable. I mean, you see this effect recreated with acetate, but it doesn't have nearly the transparency that this does.
If you just hold it up to the light, you'll just see how beautiful it's almost on fire.
Wow. This is unbelievable.
And if you pop them on, you'll see how light and easy they are to wear.
Yeah, but you hardly feel them on
You
at
don't
all.
feel them at all.
These aren't even shaped.
They're not even made.
Yeah.
We also do some interesting things with more exotic materials.
Really?
More experimental materials.
Okay.
One being mammoth ivory.
Really?
So around sort of 8,000 to 30,000 years old, dug up in permafrost.
Really?
And we get some absolutely beautiful aesthetic qualities from it. Let me show you. So something like this is a piece of dark mammoth ivory that's been plated up and put on a backing of black buffalo horn. So not only do you have the lightness of the horn, you also have the aesthetic qualities of the mammoth ivory and a good amount of curvature.
I mean, for a pair of sunglasses,
it would be
this
fantastic.
would be extraordinary.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, again, what's amazing though is if you want something truly one of a kind and exceptional,
of course,
you can have it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's a piece of history on your face. Yeah.
Well, how about something slightly more approachable for a first commission?
Absolutely.
You know, maybe we look at acetate.
Yes, acetate's fantastic. You know, you get such a wide variety of colours in acetate. You've got those amber tones, and you've got those brown tones.
So you still have a little bit of transparency here.
And you have a little bit of transparency. We don't like to use that many opaque materials. And from it, you can really understand, you know, how easy a traditional sort of piece can just flow into that material colour. With acetate, you know, as you mentioned, you do have an element of transparency. And you can see that when you have a look at something like these. You really do get an idea of how the frame will open up in the light.
Yeah.
To compare it with shell, you can see, you know, the difference in
that really glows.
It glows. It glows. Yeah, it glows.
You can see the difference.
You can see the difference, but you can get, you know, get the same sort of aesthetic with a tortoiseshell acetate and be very happy with it.
Well, there's multiple dimensions, I think, to what it is that you're doing, and you know, I think that, you know, as a first pair, you know, just having something that fits proper. First and foremost. Yeah. And then second, that is shaped and designed for my frame and my face. Yeah. I mean, that in and of itself sounds like such an extraordinary step above what else that I could find. And then kind of exploring the materials and the nuance of that. Of course, yeah. It seems like a rabbit hole that I may be falling down.
I think, you know, a blue with some movement in it could be a very nice starting place for you. And I think something that I could recommend would be something like this. It's an Atlantic tone, we call it.
And it's got a little bit of dimensionality to it, so it's not flat, it's not solid.
Yes. So we could start with that and really really make a lovely frame from that.
Okay.
For you. Yeah. Something that would be easy to wear in the day.
Yeah.
Still goes with the majority of tailoring that you wear. And,
would you differentiate a daytime frame from a nighttime frame?
Like, well, yes, I think you know, when we think about nighttime frames, we want to think a lot more about darker colours.
Okay.
So either blacks or very dark mottles, something with a really nice sheen on it.
Okay.
Something that light bounces on. So that both encompasses a colour structure.
Yeah.
So the dark colours, and also a technical aspect of the frame, which we call barreling.
Okay.
Barreling is the curvature on the top line. The more barreled a frame is, the more light is going to hit the top line and bounce off.
Really?
Much like the shoulder piece.
Yeah, or the roll of the lapel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we think about an evening pair, that's the sort of thing we think about.
But this blue right here,
yeah,
you know, I mean, this has enough, you know, color to it that it's not going to be completely black during the daytime. It's going to have some dimensionality to it, but almost like with a dark charcoal at night and lower light would darken.
Exactly that. Yeah. So you could wear it in evening settings very successfully.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy to carry on with that. I would say no if we were on the wrong path.
That's what it's like. You know, I'm very careful never to override
the
intuition or recommendation of someone from whom I'm commissioning something, because you know, really, I mean, you know better than I in some ways.
No, of course.
I know what it is I don't like.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's important. But you know, I certainly embrace that draw towards something new.
I think that's great. So I think we'll make a rounded style for you.
Okay.
Something a little thicker than what we looked at first.
Yeah.
But not too thick to overpower your features.
Okay.
We'll make it in that really beautiful blue colour. And yes, I think the next thing to do is we take all your measurements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Well,
this is a channel first.
Oh, absolutely. Here we go. So Kirby, I'm going to ask you just to pop these on, and these are going to act as just a base template for my measurements. It's one of the first frames we tried on, and as I said, we're going to be doing a number of measurements around the head, around the face, and around the eyes.
Okay.
All right. So first thing we generally do is take a profile of the head. What we do by this is we understand exactly how we're taking the temples back on you. So if you just turn around for me and just let me know when it feels a little uncomfortable. Everyone has such different sensitivities behind their ears. You can change
that's
radically.
uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Yeah.
There we go. And then the other side. That's perfect. And this is the measurement that stops you having the early curving temples that we see so regularly, which we liken to short-fitted trousers, for example. We like to have all the measurements. It allows us to understand the face a lot better. When we go to design the frame, everything starts from scratch. We use our measurements as a guide and photos as a sort of a reference point to understand the contours of the face, how things are sitting, how everything fits together, essentially. That sort of takes us to the point where we understand your head, we understand your head shape. We've got the measurements that we need to go to the next phase, which is the design phase.
Okay.
And we'll have a chat with the craftsman about exactly what we want to see on the frames. We want to articulate exactly the small little details we want to see on the frame and how the frame should be made up.
Okay.
The process at that point, we quote currently 6 months.
Okay.
So in around 6 months, you'll be getting a call.
And that's a function of I would imagine, the backlog, right?
Exactly that.
But how long, just out of curiosity, does a frame actually take to make if you were to, kind of approximate it from start to finish?
I mean, a frame can take about a day to make at its quickest. It can also take around a week without thinking about preparation of materials.
Yeah.
For certain harder materials like mammoth ivory, to create a curve, you need to create little substructs of the actual frame. Okay. And then build those all again in one piece on a backing of buffalo horn.
Incredible.
So you can imagine you're building something immensely complicated.
Yeah.
That isn't just cutting out a piece of material from its plate.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, thank you so much.
Really lovely.
This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for popping in.
And I've enjoyed this so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right. See you.
Wow, that was incredible. even more extraordinary than I expected. I'm struck by that, just like with bespoke tailoring or bespoke shoemaking, there is so much more to the craft than what meets the eye. And when we think about one's wardrobe and how we present ourselves to the world, few things are worn more often or more visibly than our eyewear. Day in and day out, they indeed frame how we see the world and how the world sees us. And yet, like so many things these days, eyeglasses are treated as little more than a functional necessity, an afterthought. But here at EB Meyrowitz, they become something entirely different, an expression of character, handcrafted with purpose, precision, and style. What sets Marowitz apart is not simply the quality of the product, but the level of personal attention that defines the experience. Jamie is not just preserving the Marowitz legacy and this ancient craft of eyeglass making, they're shaping it, one frame at a time. In a world of mass production and hurried choices, this experience has reminded me of something I've come to deeply appreciate, that the most beautiful things in life aren't bought, they're commissioned. And that's what I've come to love during my time here in London, the quiet romance of things made by hand, the luxury of time well spent, and the enduring pleasure of owning something that could never belong to anyone else. Next time, Jamie and I step inside the EB Meyrowitz workshop, a sanctuary of timeless craftsmanship tucked away from the modern rush. It's here, among the scent of fine acetate and the quiet intensity of skilled hands at work, that I witness true bespoke artistry in motion. My glasses begin their next stage of their journey, shaped, refined, and brought even closer to becoming a one-of-a-kind expression of style and precision.